Hello, dreamers. PERLA here. As always, thank you for your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. So this is going to be the weekly Zodiac reading. So the Zodiac's weekly readings. This video will be timestamped. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right on in, okay? So for Aries, all right, love, this is going to be a week where you're going to have to stop running away from the issues or from whatever challenges or from whatever arguments, disagreement, whatever it is. There's something here about you guys wanting to avoid or escape from some type of accountability or responsibility. So if this is like within your finances, you know that you need to stick to a budget, or you know that you need to do a budget, but you're running away from it. This is a hard, difficult conversation within a romantic relationship or within a family dynamic. Again, there's an avoidance energy here that you guys are embodying, in a sense, to not address something because something feels too harsh or too rough or too whatever to address or to deal with. And you're needing to accept the fact that running away from this or pretending like this doesn't exist or pretending like something is not an issue is not going to magically make it go away. I know that it's not what you want to hear, but it is very heavily the way that it's coming in, needing to face something head on, needing to address something head on. And stop putting yourself in this position where you think like something is going to magically fix itself. And what I mean by that is, like, yes, spirit can come through and make miracles, but usually, not usually, it's always, we are in alignment with the miracles that are being presented to us, or that we're receiving, or however it is that you want to mark it, right? Or however it is that you want to word it. So there is a sense here that there are things that you have to do in order for something to resolve itself, right? So you can't go to spirit and be like, oh, I need to be debt free. And spirit is going to be like, okay, what kind of debt? Like, are we talking about like emotional debt? Are we talking about financial debt? Like, what does that look like for you, right? So when we talk about being very specific about the things that you want, you have to first analyze the reality of where it is that you are at now, right? So if for you, what you're struggling with is your finances, you first have to see where it is that you are at. If your bank account is negative, if you are behind of payments, or whatever it is, in order for spirit to help you, and when I say help you, the help usually comes through opportunity or unexpected money or whatever it is. Spirit, you have to be very specific. Be like, okay, spirit, like I am $3,472.67 behind on A, B, C, or D, right? And that way, then the opportunities or the ideas or whatever it is, however it is the spirit wants to help you, is going to start coming through. But if you just keep on saying like, oh, I don't want to be in debt, spirit is like, okay, what kind of debt? Like, you can be like sleep debt, like, where you're not getting enough sleep or whatever it is. So needing to address something head on, or needing to be completely honest with yourself about something head on before even asking for help, is something that is needed. So let's go ahead and let's see what is hidden within the shadows. Revenge, number 23. There is a sense here where you feel like there's a situation that is unfair to you. There's a situation that you feel like someone should be paying for what they did to you, or something of that matter. And the question here is, why are you so worried about what they're doing instead of focusing on what it is that you should be doing? Whatever it is that you're still keeping tabs on an ex or somebody that hurt you, that energy needs to be addressed. Remember that we all get exactly what we receive. Karma does not skip anybody. And when I say karma, we're talking about good things and bad things, if that's how you want to word it. So I would refocus a little bit more on yourself and stop worrying so much about what's happening over there. Because again, there isn't addressing or assessing the things. Mizina, where your focus should be. Mama, I don't have a bowl. Okay? I don't have one. No, I don't have one, Mama. Give me a second, okay? So let's go ahead and let's see what is your oracle card. Mizina, Mommy said give her a minute, okay? I don't even see it. Give me a second, guys. There's nothing there. Oh, it's under my chair. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, here. It's in your, look at it right here. Go get it. It's in your crate. Sorry about that. And I'm not editing that. All right, so let's go ahead and what is your closing message for them, Spirit? What is the closing message? Okay, what is the closing message, Spirit? recalling memories, missing someone, or reminiscing. Again, and then we have the chain in the bottom. So some of you are like really heavily focusing on wanting somebody to get the revenge, wanting somebody to pay for what it is that they did to you. But simultaneously, you are avoiding certain things in your personal life that need your attention, that need to be addressed. Whether this is, I'm very heavily picking up like financial things. So please keep an eye on that, guys, okay? Taurus. Taurus, this is energy of like someone reeling you back in or roping you back in. And this, again, is going to be different for all of you. So like if you are separated from someone or you've broken up with somebody, there is some type of like manipulated energy here of trying to rope you back in or trying to get you back in some way. So just kind of be aware of that, especially like if you are done with somebody, needing to set very strong boundaries with this individual. If that's not something that you want, it's going to be very important, especially for those of you that are trying to move on, or if you are trying to move on, I feel like this person is going to be an issue. Now, if this is in regards to work, there may be, maybe you put in your 2 weeks and somebody is now giving you like a counter offer. Like there is a space in your life or a place in your life that doesn't want to let you go. So for some of you, this may be career-wise. There's an employer or whatever that is not ready to just let you go just yet. And for others of you, this is definitely just an internal thing. There are certain behaviors or certain patterns that Spirit has already shown you or has already shone a light on and telling you like, hey, these things need to be addressed, right? Maybe there is a space about like avoiding certain emotions when they arise. There's a way of escaping from emotions, escaping from healing, that Spirit is kind of like letting you know like, hey, we really need to address this. This is not something that we should really be ignoring at this time. So that is basically the gist of what is going on this week, about like something roping you back in or something trying to rope you in. So you have to obviously use your own discernment as to where it is that this energy applies in your life. But it is something that, again, I feel like you can see very clearly, but you're going to have to make the decision as to whether it is that you allow yourself to go back into something, or if you allow yourself to continue of engaging, with said person. So what hides in the shadow, Spirit? The child I was meant to be. Doesn't surprise me, especially for those of you that are avoiding or are distracting yourself when things are rising, when things are trying to come up. There is a sense that a lot of you tend to go back to patterns, to people, to places and spaces that, in a sense, keep you stuck. Because if you stay stuck, or if there is an excuse to stay stuck, then you don't have to do the work that is required to relieve you or to free you from this. And I don't say that in a way of judging or anything like that. We all go through this phase where sometimes we become so familiar and so comfortable with the chaotic. We become so familiar and so comfortable with the dysfunction that we cannot imagine life differently. And Spirit is telling you that it is time for you to do differently. It is time for you to walk away from this and not allow yourself to be roped back in by someone or a situation. All right, so what do we have for their closing message, Spirit? What is your oracle card for the closing message? So we have two cards that actually came out. We have the Black Sheep, rebelling, going against expectation and defying forms, and the Long Haul, in it to win it, long-term intentions and investment. So there is a sense again here of needing to walk away from these spaces or these energies that you have become very comfortable in, because they're not doing anything for you. They're not allowing you to grow, and you know that. And you know that these energies, these individuals, again, are trying to pull you back in, and you need to stand firm against this energy and really set very strict boundaries to not allow yourself to get manipulated back into them, okay? Okay. Geminis, I love you guys. I know a lot of Geminis. I have a lot of Gemini clients, and I'm going to say this with all the love in my heart. Please, please watch your mouth this week. Which one of you two is growling? I'm sorry, guys. One of these dogs is growling. It's like a growl sighting, like they're annoyed. Or I don't know if it's because they're hot or what it is, but they're like it's not a growl like they're angry. As I'm saying that, right? And one of them is like whining. But anyways, there is this sense of like needing to watch your mouth. You may say something either without having all of the information or without having the entire story. So you don't want something, you don't want something to come and bite you back in the ass, right? So again, you may speak out on something prematurely. So spirit is asking you to avoid that. Please first gather all the information or gather everything that you need before you speak out on something or before you confront someone. Because again, this can come back and bite you in the ass. So in Spanish, we say, no escupa para arriba para que la saliva no te caiga en la boca. Like, don't spit upwards so your own saliva doesn't fall in your face. So that's kind of like the gist of you this week. Whether this is a tactic or a way of like manifestation, like be very specific again with what it is that you're trying to ask. Mizina, what is it, mama? Or if it is just conversations that you're having, again, needing to have the entire story or needing to have the everyone's side of the story or something like that before jumping into conclusion, right? So just kind of like beware that whether this is like at work, whether this is in your personal life or whatever it is, there can be a misunderstanding that causes you to speak out on something that honestly you're doing it prematurely. And then you're going to be regretting whatever it is that you're saying. And if you guys do hear her barking, I apologize. It is really late at night, so I don't understand why she's like that. As your shadow energy, we have the number 9, which is the envious gluttony. So again, you may have, let's put it this very simple. Like sometimes you read something or you see like a little clip or something on social media and you automatically make an assumption of something and then you comment and then like, oh shoot, like I should have watched that whole video before I made my comment because now my comment looks stupid or something like that. So it's something to that state or something within that energy that is happening, if that makes sense. Okay. Alrighty, so let's go ahead. And it's funny because like she wasn't barking, and the minute that I started with your energy, she started making like all of these noises to just get attention. So if it is about getting someone's attention or something like that, again, just make sure that you have all of the information before you address something or before you go towards someone. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card. We have the lipstick evidence, infidelity, caught cheating, or betrayal. So this may be in regards to a betrayal of some form, whether this is platonic or romantically. Again, have your evidence, have everything, because if you're coming at somebody with just suspicions, they're going to deny and they're going to be able to deny it. So please, please, please make sure that you have concrete proof before you bring something up to someone's attention. Cancer, this week seems very busy, or at least wants to be very busy for you. I would definitely set some time aside to like just chill and relax. This is something that you're going to have to plan though. I don't feel like this is something that is coming naturally or something that is just going to happen. You may have overcommitted yourself or you may have overbooked yourself in some way, shape, or form. So you are being invited during this time to learn to say yes to yourself more than what you say yes to other people. Your self-care, your self-love, your self-attention, attention keeps coming up, should be your priority. The more that you continue to give from a half full cup, and I'm saying half full because it's like you do the bare minimum before you go out and help other people. The longer that you continue to do that, the longer you're going to continue to see the same pattern of like, you get to a point where like physically your body gets so exhausted and so drained that then you're like bedbound for like a couple of weeks before you come back up, right? And there is this sense of like, again, needing to address that this is not a new story. This is something that we have been talking about for an extended period of time. And during this time, as this is coming up, it is the opportunity to finally get out of that habit, to finally get out of those patterns that you have been stuck in for many, many years. And the funny thing is that you do very well, and I feel like you go up to like a 3-month mark where you go very heavily with your self-care, your self-attention, pouring into yourself first and all of these things. And then somewhere around the 3-month mark, you revert back, right? And that is, I feel like, the tipping point for you that you really need to pay attention to, right? What is that little mark, or what is that little space? Like, what is happening exactly at that 3rd month mark that allows you, because it is a choice, right? You're choosing to restart the cycle again, and it's just like a continuous cycle. And then it's like, for 3 months you're doing self-care, you're taking care of yourself, you're whatever it is, whatever eating right looks like for you, right? Whatever exercise looks like for you, whatever health looks like for you, right? And then you're feeling amazing, you're feeling like 100%, and then you start to overgive, to overpour, and then guess what happens again? the restarting of the cycle. And it's not until you get to a point where you're like bedbound and you're like, okay, I really need to make changes, that you actually start to make the changes. But then again, we kind of keep on reliving the same cycle, and we need to get out of that, my love. So we have the number 21 as what is in the shadows, bride in a cage. Right? When we think about like weddings, when we think about a bride, right? Somebody that is starting a new phase, there's a new chapter in their life, right? They're going to be married or whatever. But being in a cage, being enclosed, not being able to move forward, not being able to expand or grow. And that's kind of like this energy where every few months you feel like you're starting over. You feel like you're finally going to get this. You feel like you're finally going to stick to this new thing, right? And then something happens that allows you again to go into these spaces where it's kind of like you're starting all over again, or you feel trapped within a certain pattern. And Spirit is telling you, hey, you have the choice to free yourself from this. All you have to do is continue and take on. All you have to do is to continue on putting you first, and do not fall. And the thing is, like, we all backtrack, excuse me, to a certain extent, right? But the whole beautiful thing about healing and walking through this journey is that you're able to either catch yourself right after you do it so that you can correct it. Then eventually you're going to catch yourself as you're doing it, right? And then you'll correct it. And then you finally get to a place where you catch yourself even before the energy approaches you, and you do not allow yourself to overcommit or to put yourself second. Does that make sense? All right. So let's go ahead and let's pull out. Okay. Quick getaway, the runner, and escaping. Okay. For some of you, you were raised in the space of, in order to feel worthy, or in order to feel like you were worth something, or like you were a good person, whatever that means, you had to constantly give. You had to constantly be busy. And that, in a sense, played against you, because then you began to disconnect from yourself. You began to disconnect from your own emotions. And now a lot of the times when things are trying to surface up for you, you go into the space of like, sorry, I almost dropped the camera. You go into the spaces of like over giving and over extending yourself in a way to avoid whatever it is that is trying to come up, whatever it is that needs to be addressed. Leos, the truth of something is finally coming to light, or you're seeing the manifestation of something that Spirit has, I don't want to necessarily say like warned you about, but something that Spirit has told you about, something that Spirit has been telling you that is coming. Now, whether you're getting these downloads directly by yourself, or if you're getting them from readers and maybe you were questioning whether something was going to happen or not, it is happening. There is an answer to a prayer, and I'm going to be honest with you. For some of you, this prayer involves reconnecting or coming back together with someone, like romantically and stuff like that. You're going to get exactly what you want. For those of you that are, and this is going to be very specific for certain people, there is some type of belief system spiritually that in your mind, you may have thought like, or maybe this is somebody that you're dealing with it with. Somebody here feels like somebody is going down the wrong path spiritually. And Spirit is coming to tell this person in their dreams or whatever it is, like, no, they are on the right path. So you may have like, a family member, a child or whatever it is, or a parent, and you may not understand, like, let's say you are spiritual and they're religious, and you're just like, oh, I really want them to free themselves from religion and this and this and that. And Spirit is like, hey, love, like, I get it, but that is their path. That is their walk. Or it might be vice versa. Like, you may be the religious one, or, you may have a parent that is religious that wants you to come back into religion. And Spirit is like telling them through like a dream or something like, hey, nah, my love, like, that is their spiritual path. Like, you need to accept that, and you need to love them and respect their decision. So there's something of that dynamic happening this week for those of you that it doesn't have to do with love. But again, there is an answered prayer. For some of you, you're getting exactly what you want. And for others of you, Spirit is telling you, like, you need to stay in your lane. So if you've had a difficult relationship with like a family member or a parent or whatever it is, telling you that your spiritual path, whatever it is wrong, the Spirit is directly giving them the message that they need to back off whatever it is that they're trying to stop you from doing. So in the shadows, we have triumphs over lies, right? So there is some type of revelation here about someone's spiritual path that is coming to pass. There is some type of revelation. It's almost kind of like Spirit is like, again, if you have a parent or if you have a child or whatever, and you've been like, okay, Spirit, like I really want to have a relationship with this person, but their viewpoint on religion or spirituality or whatever it is not in alignment with me. Maybe they are constantly coming at you. Maybe they're constantly criticizing you. Like all of that is going to start ceasing or is going to start calming down, because again, they're getting a direct message from Spirit that they need to stop messing with you in that way. So let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card as your closing message. I don't understand what is going on, Gina. This dog keeps on barking tonight, and I know that it's late, so I think she just wants me to come to bed. I haven't really been working this late. Been in bed the last couple of weeks, anyways, recovering from surgery. So I think she's just like, Mom, come to bed. So here we have the long haul. In it to win it, long-term intentions and investment. But at the bottom of the deck, we have the key player. Important person playing essential roles and irreplaceable, right? With the long haul, again, Spirit has already put in your heart, in their heart, the spiritual path that each of you are meant to follow. And they are not in alignment. They are not together. And the biggest lesson between you and this person is needing to learn to respect each other's decision without coming at each other, right? Without demonizing one thing over the other. Okay? Okay, Virgos, a little bit of rose water, something refreshing or something calming is really going to be beneficial for you guys this week. Not necessarily, like, when I say this, I'm not talking about like, oh my God, you need a cleanse, like somebody's coming after you. That's not what I'm talking about. But there is a need here for your spirit to have more of a calming or relaxing type of week, or a calming, relaxing type of day is needed. So if you can afford, and I don't mean just financially, but like also like time wise and etc., like to take a spa day or do something that is relaxing, right? Take a bubble bath or whatever it is. It's something that is going to be very beneficial for you guys, especially for those of you that are feeling stuck creatively. Or for those of you that are just feeling like some type of stagnant energy. There is a sense here of wanting to learn more about something, or wanting to gain more in something, whether this is at work, whether this is knowledge or whatever it is. But again, feeling very stuck as to how it is that's going to look. Like, how do I move forward in this direction? How do I move forward in that space? So doing something calming, like, spraying yourself with rose water, maybe lighting up a candle, not necessarily in a strict meditation way, if that makes sense. We're looking for relaxation. And when I say this, I'm saying it because for some of you, meditating doesn't seem relaxing. Maybe because you're just not there yet. Maybe meditation, there is a cognition or a space here where you're associating meditation with work or some type of structure. So that's why I'm pointing that out. So again, taking a bubble bath, spraying yourself, or lighting up a candle, and having a glass of wine, whatever it is that rocks your boat when it comes to calming yourself, And if it is meditation, then hey, hop on right on in, because that's like the one thing that I do when I feel like I need relaxing, right? So what lies in your shadows is alone in the world. Again, there is a sense, it's the number 6, right? There is a sense here of like just needing to be with you, needing to just kind of be. And for some of you, that is something that is hard. Like taking a bubble bath or planning a bubble bath is hard, because it's going to take you away from this. So what seems to be like within your shadow space, Virgo, is taking the time to relax, or taking the time to pamper yourself. That is just like the way that it's coming up. All right, so let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card for your closing message. Self-care, baby, self-care above all. What is in their shadow? Not in their shadows. I don't know why I had to say that. What is their closing message? There we go. A heart-to-heart, deep conversation, intimate discussion, blunt and honest. Some of you definitely, again, this space of calming yourself, or the space of needing to like ground yourself in some type of way, may have to do with some type of conversation that you're going to have, this heart to heart that you're having with someone. I honestly feel that this is those surrounding business, to be honest with you. Whether it is that you're in business with a significant other, with an ex or whatever, there is some tough communication that is needed around that space. Okay. Libras. Libras, there is some type of like old pattern that is trying to sneak in. For some of you, this old pattern or this old behavior may just be an ex or something like that that is trying to. Why do I have this? Oh, it's breaking. That's why. Yeah, it's like stretched out. Um, you see, like I just found this like in between my desk, and I was like, oh wait, why do I have it here? And you see how it's stretched out, right? So if I wear it and it gets caught with something, it's going to just eventually break. And why am I showing you this? Because this is like again something that you guys may be tempted to put it back on, may be tempted to restart something with somebody from your past. And Spirit is telling you, you see like how it is? Like this is not holding on for much longer. Right? This is going to eventually break. And when it breaks, it's going to scatter everywhere. So we could try to hide it, right? We can hide it in here. We can kind of hold it like this so it doesn't look as stretched out, but the reality is that this has run its course. And I'll repurpose this for something else, right? And the thing is that for a lot of you, that's what it is. You're supposed to repurpose the lessons and the experience within that connection, not necessarily going back to it. Okay. So when this person reaches out now, you don't have to address it. You don't even have to be curious about what it is that they're saying, right? Or what it is that they want to share. All right. So let's go ahead and let's pull out what is in the shadows for you guys this week. What is in the shadows that Libra needs to address, Spirit? What is in the shadows? Why do you guys feel like I'm gonna be calling you out in like such a bad way? I'm doing shadows for everybody. Number 19, a parasite, right? A parasite comes, lifts up the holes, takes and takes and takes, and doesn't give anything back. This is what this person represents for you. And the question is it why is it that you're so drawn to this? What is it that lives within you that likes to take, and doesn't like to reciprocate or doesn't like to give, right? And this take energy can be very simple, like where it's reversing you, where you're constantly giving, but then you have a hard time receiving. So apply this parasitic energy wherever it is that it applies in your life. Okay, love? Alrighty. And I know that these readings have been really short, guys. I am still recovering from surgery, and I will be going into surgery in a couple of weeks again. So these readings are going to be pretty short for the next couple of months until I'm back to 100%, okay? Alrighty, so what is the closing message for Libra? This is what flipped. Detective, snooping, digging for dirt and accusation, right? So again, there is a sense here that this person from the past just wants to come in and cause problems. They want to come in and blame you for whatever it is that is going on in their life now. They believe, or they're under the impression that everything that is going bad for them at this moment in time is because you walk away from them, because you set boundaries, because you put an end to this. And you are not to take responsibility for their financial misfortune, and you're not to take responsibility for whatever it is that is going on in their life. Okay? Okay. Scorpios. So Scorpios, there is alignment here that is happening. There is an acceptance of something here that you're just accepting it. You're accepting it as it is because you're not wanting the challenge of it, if that makes any sense, or the challenge of going against something. And that little bit of it, let's put it this way, is for someone in a relationship. You're accepting the fact or the truth of a current relationship, and you're just like, you know what, this is what it is, and if I want to be with this person, this is something that I'm gonna have to accept or deal with. Now, to that, I will say you and only you know what part of your journey you are on. Okay. Now, for the rest of you, that this has nothing to do with love or the non-love aspect of your life, there are a lot of things that are coming into alignment, or a lot of things that are falling into place for you. Finally, there is a lot of planning, or a lot of putting the pieces together, a lot of organizing around a certain structure or space. A lot, again, you're in the planning phases of something, whether this is an event, I want to say party, I don't know, like an event, a party, getting your own place, buying a new car. I don't know, there's changes here that are coming, but I need you to, as you're planning, to stay grounded in the truth of what is possible and what is not. Do not, why do I keep on hearing like, do not spend what you do not have? Meaning, some of you are already planning about spending some type of money. Sorry, guys. Some of you are already planning to spend some type of money that you don't have. And with that, I have to say, like, there's different things like to look into the dynamic, right? So like I'm very like when I'm doing manifestation, I write down exactly what it is that I want to the penny, right? Like I try to find like the exact amount of money for everything and like what I want like my splurging money to look like, right? So I personally do this, but I do this in an intention setting way for manifestation, not in an impulsive way. Does that make sense? So like let's say like when I was gonna buy the house, when I was gonna buy the house and I was gonna buy the car and all of this stuff, like I said, okay, I need this amount of money. Like I want to put 40 grand down as a down payment. I want to put this amount of money, like 15 grand for a car. This and this. And that. Like I was very specific with spirit with how I wanted everything to go down. So before all the money came in, I already had a designated space for that money, but I didn't take any actual steps towards them until I had the money in hand. Where a lot of you may be taking steps prematurely before money actually arrives, and you need to be aware of that, and please be careful with that, okay? Be careful with that energy because that can lead you, excuse me guys, I dropped a couple of cards. That can lead you into like financial debt or financial situations that you really don't want to be in, okay? All right, there's a difference with doing something impulsively and prematurely or actually planning out for something. Why do I keep on dropping your cards? Oh my God. Okay. So we have the colorless angel and then we have today for tomorrow. So again, I am excited that things are moving in the direction that you want them. But please, please, please allow yourself to have the tangible evidence of something before you actually start making purchases is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Okay. All right, let's do your closing message, Scorpio. We have the tiptoeing, avoiding getting caught, acting shady, and sneaking around. Again, this energy, I pick it up more for, and at the bottom we have recalling. So some of you may be reminiscing on an old connection, whether this connection is romantically or platonic. It is irrelevant, but you are trying to keep distance between you and this person. I'm not going to lie, because you know that if you cave or if you connect with this person, if you talk to this person, etc., you're not going to be able to hold yourself back. Sagittarius, there's an energy here of like being out of breath or feeling like you're out of breath, out of time, out of something, trying to rush or trying to run towards something. You can see the finish line when it comes to a goal, when it comes to something that you are investing in, but yet then you're still afraid that you're not going to reach it. There is an addressing here these spaces within you that have these echoes of the words of your parents, or have the echoes of the words of your siblings, or have the echoes of the words of teachers. There's somebody here in your childhood, whether this was like preschool, like not preschool, like may have been preschool, honestly, but there's something about like school grade or whatever, where somebody told you that you weren't going to like amount to something, or somebody told you that you were never going to achieve something or something of that matter. And this energy, for those of you, when you're this close to achieving something or right before breakthrough comes through in certain areas, you start to doubt yourself, you start to question yourself, you start to question what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're trying to create. And you have been asking yourself like, hey, I'm doing everything that I have to do. I'm doing all of these manifestations. I'm doing these affirmations. I'm doing all of this shit. Like, why is this voice, why is this thought still coming up? And there has to be this space where you have to not just acknowledge that it's coming up, but you have to also accept and acknowledge of the fact of where it is that it originated in, how it originally made you feel, and allow your body, your nervous system to feel that, so that then you're able to regulate it and integrate it into whom it is that you are now. And that is something that I'm definitely putting certain workshops and certain work together for you guys, and fingers crossed by the end of the summer hopefully I can have some of these things out for you guys, depending on how my recovery for my next surgery comes out, because this recovery so far is I can just do this, like the readings. There's not a lot that I'm doing at this moment as I'm recovering, but yeah, there is this sense of like of that. So in your shadows, we have the forgetting oneself, which is the number 17, and I don't want to cry for you, the number 22. So this again gives me this energy within your shadow space where part of you is trying to tell you like, hey, this is where it started, and part of you doesn't want to accept the fact that something that someone said to you 15, 20, 35 years ago is still affecting you. But the truth of the matter is that the more that you try to avoid this, the stronger of a hold that it seems to have on you, Sag. All right, so let's go ahead and let's pull out a closing message for you guys. So what is your closing message for Sagittarius? What is the closing message for Sagittarius? What is the closing message? That's weird. Why? All right. Bonnie and Clyde, ride or die, us against the world, dedicated partnership. It's actually kind of like this energy of like, this is kind of like the unwanted relationship that you've had with doubts, where and I know that it sounds crazy, but this doesn't necessarily bring me in like a partner or love or anything like that. It's like this doubt that you have within yourself has really become part of your identity, and it is something that, like when we think about like Bonnie and Clyde, a lot of people idolize that relationship, but it was also very toxic, right? So it's like you have this relationship with this doubt that you haven't really integrated it, and it's like there's a lot of, there's like this toxic energy that lives within that space that sometimes comes in and almost freezes you to a point where you don't even want to move forward, or you don't want to continue on with something. And for some of you, it has even stopped you from seeing something through all the way through. Capricorns, this week there is a huge emphasis of getting organized. And I know that you guys are like, seriously, I need to get more organized. When I'm saying this, I need you to start planning a little bit more like fun activities. Needing to plan more like just fun events. Like a lot of you go to like dinner parties or like events or whatever with the intention of networking. So like nothing that you do is just for the fun of it. You are in work mode all the time. You go to a wedding, you're networking. You go to a bridal shower, you're networking. You go to a bachelor's party, you're networking. Like your work mode is never off. And Spirit is telling you like, yo, just go to fucking sit at a beach or something and just power it down. Like let's start balancing this off. Like you don't have to be on work mode all the time is basically what is coming up. There is a balancing needed here of like just needing to like relax a little bit more, needing to just make time or pencil in, schedule your relaxation time if it's really that hard for you to do it. It's also kind of giving me back this energy of like when we were talking with Virgo is having like the same struggle, but I feel like you guys, it's not necessarily that you don't like to enjoy yourself. It's not like that you don't like to have fun, because I feel like you guys do, but you can, within that fun or within the work or whatever, there's always like in the back of your head, there's like, ooh, I can make potential connections here for business, right? And sometimes it is okay to let that go, to just be at a wedding, to just enjoy the wedding and not scanning the room to see who you can network with, right? That is kind of like what I'm talking about. Like there is an overly obsession here, or an overworked energy that Spirit is asking you to address, because again, balance is the key in every area of our lives. And when something is unbalanced, like too much of anything, whether you consider it bad or good, can throw you off balance. And Spirit is like, hey, you're kind of like deviating a little bit more this week, so let's make sure that we stay on top of that balance that we need. Okay, alrighty. So let's go ahead and let's pull out what is in the shadows for Capricorns this week. What is in the shadows for Capricorns this week? Is this me, number 4? Some of you, when you're not working, when you're not networking, when you're not hustling or whatever, some of you still struggle with identity of who you are. When someone asks you who you are, you don't say my name is. You usually identify like by your role. If you say, oh, I'm Perla, I'm a mom of 4, right? Or I'm Perla, I'm a nurse. I'm Perla, whatever. Like, and I'm using those as examples of how I used to introduce myself, right? When people used to ask, where now I just be like, I'm Perla. They'll say Perla. That's it. Like that in itself, my name in itself encompasses everything everything of who I am, right? Every aspect of who I am. And for a lot of you, your identity is very much attached to your career or to what it is that you feel that you bring to the table. And Spirit is telling you that you are so much more than that, okay? So let's go ahead and let's pull out your Oracle card as your closing message, Capricorn. Sipping, nosy, spreading rumors, and gossiping. Just be aware of this energy. There may be people that are forming opinions or perspectives of you without really knowing who you are. They are going by the surface level of things that they see, whether this is on social media, whether this is in like certain group settings or anything like that. You are being advised you're being advised during this time to be aware of this energy, but not necessarily engage with it. This is not an energy that needs a response or an energy that needs your attention. It is more about like Spirit really truly showing you who it is that has been circling around, is what I keep saying. Because these are not necessarily people that are friends or anything like that. This is more of like these people that may be watching you on social media and stuff like that and never really comment directly like on your things, but then they go ahead and they'll make a post, but they won't directly say your name, but they'll allude to something that you said or allude to something that you did or allude to something that you were wearing, etc., etc. And for some reason, this is coming back around, like somebody is letting you know that somebody is saying certain things about you. So just be aware of that, okay? Okay. Aquarius, there is a sense here of needing to be honest with a connection in your life that you are pouring a lot into. Now, whether this is romantic or platonic, it's going to be different for all of you. This is just a general reading. But there is a connection here that you are giving way too much of yourself. You're sacrificing way too much of yourself. And you're going to start seeing it in a physical way. So there's something about your physicality that is going to change or that is going to start being very noticeable. So for certain people, it's going to look very different. You know, some people, when they are in connections or in relationships where their nervous system cannot settle down or regulate, they either gain a lot of weight or they lose a lot of weight. They feel like they look puffy or they look drained. They don't look like themselves. They look like a shell of the person of who they are, because the stress, the physical stress of being in this connection is so draining that it's like physically being reflected in your body. And again, this can be a romantic or a platonic relationship. You know, you can be in a very toxic environment when it comes to work, right? Where people take no accountabilities for their behavior, etc. It's something of that matter. So please pay attention to it before it gets out of control. Okay. So what is in the shadow space for Aquarius, Spirit? What is in the shadow space for Aquarius? Oh, why is it that, like, when I say shadow space, we're looking as to why it is that these messages are coming through, like, right? What is it that we're supposed to be learning, or where is it within ourselves that this is appearing or happening? So for your shadow space, we have the number 16, the black flower fragrance, right? There's something that you have romanticized, whether it is a relationship, regardless of what type of relationship it is. There's something that you are wanting to make it work no matter what. And it doesn't matter how hard you try to make this work, the end result of this connection is going to always be an ending. Now, whether that ending is permanent or temporarily is going to be up to you, because I feel like this is not something that you're ready to let go. There's something here about wanting to make it right this time around, not wanting to fail like you did the first time around. Again, whether this is romantically or platonically, do not stay in a situation just because you're trying to prove somebody or other people that this time you got it right. Because there's a lot of frustration within this connection. Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. There's way too many cards. Can we just get one card for Aquarius's closing message? I know, baby. What I said didn't sit well. What I said felt like I was attacking you. I'm not, my love. I'm just being completely honest. My boo. Official status, exclusive relationship, and seeing each other openly. This is what you want. This is what you are attached to. You are attached to this image, or this image that you want to portray to others. And I know that a lot of you are feeling like I'm attacking you. I'm not, my love. This is what your heart is yearning for. This is what your spirit wants, but it is not the reality of what it is that you are in. Hold on, guys. At this moment in time. And I feel that if you really allow yourself to be honest about your actual relationship, then you will allow yourself to be open to actually receiving this, okay? Pisces, as soon as I was tapping into your energy, I kept on hearing that phrase when people say, beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. Beware of wolves in sheep clothing. I don't know why is it coming in that way, but just be mindful of the company that you're keeping, especially for new connections, new friendships, etc. There may be people that you're connecting with that initially it feels very not so much grounding. I want to say it feels very exciting. It feels like firework, whether this is romantic or platonic, and you're being told to please be wary of it. There is somebody here who's not showing their true natures, their true colors, and some of you are going to like instinctively feel this, but then you're going to question yourself like, oh, is this coming from like an unhealed part of me, or is this the reality of it? And this is where, and I don't know why I have to say it to you guys, but this is where meditating and doing somatic work, like listening to your body, learning to scan your body and things like this are very important, because then it allows you that when you meet somebody, it's just a knowing, right? So like when I meet people, even if I know that this person is going to betray me, is going to whatever, like I'll be like, oh, really? And spirit is like, yeah, that's what they're coming in to teach you, but you need to go into that space. And those were lessons that, again, like, 6-8 years ago, I still had to learn, right? And it wasn't necessarily about the experience of what happened in the connection. It was about the initial feeling of what I was feeling, right? Where spirit was like, okay, when somebody is coming in that we want you to connect with, this is how it's going to feel. But when you see this energy, when you feel this energy, this is how the relationship is going to play out. So for some of you, this is the energy of like somebody that spirit is kind of like letting you know, like, hey, this person is coming in to deceive you. Just kind of be prepared for it, because again, I feel that a lot of you are still going to jump into this connection. Now, what lies in the shadows for you guys this week is the atonement, number 31. Again, you're recognizing that there is a lot of excitement, there is a lot of chemistry, again, romantic or platonic with this person, but there's something in your gut that is telling you to run away, but you're still going to dive into it because you're questioning yourself whether that this is coming from a healed place or not. So just don't be surprised a couple of months from now when this person betrays you, is all I'm going to say. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and let's pull out your oracle card for your closing message, Pisces. What is your oracle card? Machismo, masculine pride, toxic masculinity, meeting manly expectations. Again, there is a sense of like this energy that feels is coming in very strong, it's coming in very alluring or attractive, whatever it is, but there is a lot of toxic behavior behind this person, whether they are the same sex, opposite sex, whether they're friends, somebody that you're getting to know romantically, work, whatever it is. Just be aware and just know that you have been advised. Okay. Well, guys, that is all that I have. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Love you all. Mwah. Bye-bye.